Fact check. Wouldn't a sugar parent be a sugar daddy?
Sugar parents, plural.
Parents, couple.
I want a mommy and a daddy.
Two sugar daddies. Why they get...
Or I could get two sugar daddies and two
are
sugar
parents.
mommies.
I'm sorry, I got confused because I know sugar daddy.
I want
and
a
you just
couple
said a
to
sugar
take
parent.
me in and financially support my habits.
Which habits?
Just like my overall lifestyle, like the amount of money I spent on home improvements this week.
Restaurant Punk, what's up?
Restaurant Punk. I thought everybody was getting in on this.
That was really good.
I was waiting to see what the hell you
Restaurant Punk, welcome.
Restaurant Punk.
Noelle.
Yianni.
Badass Liz.
Yes.
I'm Yianni. Yours truly. What's going on?
Sweating my ass off.
Not me. Great.
Soaked. See, can you
Great.
smell me? Smell you later?
I can't smell you, but I
Look,
can
you
see
see-
you glistening.
Glistening. No, I put what's it called? The oil all over my body. Right?
Why?
It's 95 degrees outside now.
Why'd you put oil on your body?
Because it's the sunscreen oil. What is it? SPF 20?
I don't
you
use
You guys don't do that shit?
You're over
No,
here
I don't. I
lubing
try not
yourself
to-
up like an Italian hoagie?
Yeah. Yeah. My hair everywhere. You don't do that? Am I the only one that does
I don't
that?
put sunscreen. Doesn't agree with me, and I don't spend a lot of time in the sun.
You do not spend a lot of time in
Yeah,
the
that's why I'm
sun.
the palest Filipino you ever did see.
End of the night.
Yeah.
Or during the middle of a shift in the bar or restaurant business,
Mm-hmm.
if you're an owner, a manager, maybe even you're serving, what do we get a lot of? All three of us get this all the time. We have BYOBs, which is bring your own bottle,
Mm-hmm.
wine or beer. And what do our guests say to us? Hey, have a glass. Relax.
Yeah.
Let's break down. Should you or should you not have a glass of wine with your guests? Let's do it as business owners, right?
Yeah.
Let's think about being a business owner, and does it depend on the people? Does it depend on what they're drinking?
It is a case by case.
Give our audience some examples. What's the case by case, Noelle? Go ahead, break it down.
So
What do
I
you got?
had a cute little two-top out back, and he swore by, he makes this concoction, and it's like a cocktail essentially mixed with champagne. And he was like, and because obviously I was opening up their champagne, and I see the bottle of some kind of juice or cocktail or whatever. And I said, oh, what kind of juice is this? He was like, no, it's got liquor in it. I make this whole concoction, and he's giving me the breakdown of it. He was like, get me a glass. You have to try it. Literally beginning of the night.
Beginning of the night?
Beginning of the night. Like one of the first tables in the restaurant.
Does that make a difference?
I think so, yes.
Beginning of the night versus end of the night, or middle of the night? Middle of the night, I'm never going to do it. But beginning, no.
And so I was like,
took a sip.
you guys catch me later. It's the beginning of the night. It's the beginning of the night. And so, and plus they were the kind of people that I feel like they were offering as a test.
To see if they liked it?
No,
No,
she's
to
doing
see,
the job.
Almost like as if because they didn't know I was the owner. I was serving them.
You were the server.
I was serving
So they were
them.
planning on
Okay.
reporting her to her.
Oh, no, come on. No.
But they were just very I don't know. So they were very pushy. And so on their way out, and we had gotten busy, and I'm glad I did not have a sip because we got busy. I needed my head screwed on. And every time I came up to the table, where's your glass? Where's your glass? Where's your glass? Where's your glass? So finally I went right before they were leaving, and I gave him a glass, and he was just like, no, I'm just going to leave you the bottle.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, great. Thank you so much. Left the bottle. End of the night. I was like, let me try this. I'm so sorry. It was so bad. It was so bad.
Really?
It was awful. It
All right,
tasted
so
like
it
an
actually worked out.
armpit. And
Tasted like
then,
an armpit?
I had,
And they drank it?
it was mango, passion fruit, all the tropical
Oh, one of those bullshit
flavors.
things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just too sugary.
Yeah.
I didn't I'm a very basic person. I like a slightly dirty martini.
So let's say it was the end of the night.
So the end of the night, when you have the people who are just lounging and they're really they enjoy being there. They've been there a couple of times. They're good people, and nobody else is really in there. And they're like, hey, bring us a glass. Let's have a glass of wine. Come talk to us, whatever. I'm like, you know what? Literally, the only thing left to do is close out your tab and do side work. Yeah, I'll have a glass of wine.
With them, or just
With
take it
them.
with you? Liz, how many times you get offered a glass of wine at Shimon?
Often. Someone asked me last Wednesday.
And your
I
response
said, no,
was?
you do not want me to drink. Because I'm not a big drinker, right? And
Right.
one time I was working somewhere, I was guest bartending somewhere, and I knew the guy, and he said, just have a shot, have a shot. And I'm not,
A shot.
yeah.
Yeah, that's aggressive.
So I did a shot.
It's aggressive.
Okay. All I'm going to say is my shaker tins were flying, things were slipping out of my hands. Never again. Never
Really?
again. Because it doesn't take a lot for me to get buzzed. But even so, bartending, you got to be somewhat coordinated, especially if you're busy.
Right.
And I could hurt somebody. Like that thing could have hit someone in the head. Like it went flying. So no, but I have had people offer me in Shimon a lot.
Yeah, we find that a lot in our
even at the bars,
BYOBs.
Yeah.
I just, even at the bar where I work.
Even at the bar.
But I feel like a lot of the times it's either there's no in between. It's either the 2 top or it's the 8 to 10 top who's there. It's never the in between tables. It's never like a 4 top that's like, oh, sit down and unless it's.
Do we
like,
ever feel like it's the 2 top couple, and because they don't want to talk to each other, they want our company?
No, I think that they just want to feel like special. Like we're gonna be regulars. We want to feel special. We want to know the owners. We want to bring our friends and then like walk in and
but
everybody.
it could be many things. It could be trying to seduce you too.
All right.
Okay.
That's another one.
Fair play.
That shit happens.
Seduction.
Fair
Yes.
play.
What
I
was
am
yours? I
actually
wanna know
looking
the
for
owner.
sugar parents. Not a sugar mommy or a daddy. I would like sugar parents.
What's
So
sugar
like
parent?
if you have like a sugar daddy.
Uh-huh.
Or you could have a sugar
daddy would be
mommy.
a sugar
But
parent.
if they're a couple,
I'm
is what you're
sorry,
saying?
fact check. Wouldn't a sugar parent be a sugar
Well,
daddy?
sugar parents, plural.
Parents,
I
couple.
want like
Well, there's-
I want a mommy and a daddy.
2 sugar daddies? Why they get
Or I
sugar-
could get 2 sugar
two
daddies and 2
are
sugar
parents?
mommies.
I'm sorry, I got confused because I know sugar
I
daddy
want a
and you just
couple
said a
to
sugar
take
parent.
me in and financially support my habits.
Which habits?
Just like my overall lifestyle, like the amount of money I spent on home improvements this week. Not bad habits.
No. So you're asking. So are you asking? Did you look at the camera when you said that? Are you
Yeah.
asking for 2 sugar parents to come to
I'm
the
looking for a
restaurants?
lovely couple to come
And what is their job exactly? What do you want them to do?
I will be the daughter that you never had.
Oh my God. That is beyond.
Anyway.
creepy.
I will say that I accept 5% of offers from guests that offer me a glass of wine or something to drink. I'll take that 5% out of 95% that I'll say no to, because I don't want to get entangled. Because I think once you accept that drink,
Yes.
it's over. And there's a difference between accepting the drink and standing up and drinking it. But if I sit
joining
down, and Nico's seen me do this many times, I'll sit down with 2.5% of people and have a glass of wine because I genuinely like them as
Yeah.
guests. The other 2.5%, I'm still not sure of. They're working their way up the ladder towards my heart. But the other 95%, I politely declined. And not because I want to have a drink. It's because I don't want to get caught up for 30, 40, even upwards of an hour. And I think we have some sign language between some of us in the group to where they know if I'm stuck somewhere. And they're even if they're not sure, I've had my brother call me just to make sure that I'm okay. So as I'm sitting down having a glass of wine, oh, it's my brother. 1 second. Hello? You okay? And I'm like, yeah, I'm great. Thanks, buddy. Bye. Does my brother call in just to check to see if I want to sit with you guys or not? We have the whole evacuation plan ready to go because a lot of people are uncomfortable excusing themselves from a conversation. Agreed?
Not me.
I was like, I'm
Not
actually
Liz.
really good.
Not
at
Liz.
excusing
Liz,
myself.
I gotta go. See
No,
ya.
I gotta go.
But Noelle, do you get that at all? Where you feel like, I don't know, like they don't want to let you go? Because there have been times where everybody out there knows this. All right, I'll talk to you later. And the person goes, so tomorrow when we hook up, and they'll just keep the conversation going like they didn't even hear a thing you just said.
Yep.
That's me just trying to get out of there. Fun fact, I actually said, I'll talk to you later to somebody. And the person said, when? And I'm like, no, that's talk to you later. And you're like, when? And I'm like, what do you mean? Like you need a time and a date? So over 20 years, you can
Yeah, but
only
you
imagine.
kind of say stuff like that.
What?
You're like, oh, I'll call you later. But it doesn't mean you're going to call this person. You see it to me all the time.
Right.
But I always take that as, okay, maybe
I'll talk to you when I talk
maybe
to
I
you.
will.
Maybe in
I
5
won't.
minutes,
Yeah.
maybe, you know, it's just, but it's, is
But
it not
now
like a
you're
form
making
of
me think,
expression?
because now you're making me think. I mean, actually, we always thought this, and I always thought it'd be funny. I'm like, because a lot of times you'll call me. I'm not calling you. You call me.
Always.
And like 30 seconds later, like, I gotta go. I'm thinking, why don't you just call me?
True story.
But it's funny. I'm like, you know what'd be funny is if like he made a point to call me, but like he had a fake reason to go, even though he probably shouldn't have called me to begin with.
If I had a fake reason to go,
like-
are you guys now going to be paying attention for that?
Because if I was on the phone with you, there's times I've been on the phone and I'm like, yeah, I got shit to go. I gotta go. And I'll just,
Yeah,
I'm
no,
very-
that's you. I gotta go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
You
you're
know,
like-
I got shit to do. That's more important than talking to you right now, so That's her. You? Not so much.
I feel like, I don't know.
Say it.
Like,
Just spit it out, Noelle.
We don't talk on the phone often, and when we do, it's just a quick direct point, and then we hang up. Except for the
Yes.
most recent time you did call me, and I gave you a long-winded answer, and you were like, "Thanks for the long-winded answer." And I was like, "Well, if I didn't give you the long-winded answer, you would have
That
asked
is
more
me, Ma.
questions."
That is
and
me,
so I
yes.
gave you all the information, so no questions were to follow.
I think I have. So can you get to the point?
Yeah, no, it was.
Yeah.
It wasn't that. You actually didn't say that. You were way more graceful. You waited to the end and said, "Thanks for the long-winded answer." And I was in the
That was
driveway.
polite. Was that not polite?
And I said,
I would have said the same shit.
and so I go into the house
fucked up.
and Peter goes, "Hey, were you in the driveway?" I was like, "Yeah, I was on the phone with your brother." And he's like, "Oh, what about?" And so like, I was like, "Oh, he was asking about so-and-so." And he was just like, "Oh, okay. What'd you tell him?" And I was like, "I told him everything." And then he said it was a long-winded answer, but I had to tell him everything because if I didn't, he would have asked me a million questions just to get to the point that I just said it all in one blurb. And he was like, "That's fair."
Oh, you know what? That's actually perfect. That's
What?
actually f***ing perfect. Yeah, because I don't want to hear you talk for 5 minutes straight. I want to hear you talk for like 10 seconds straight. And then I ask a question because then I feel like it's a conversation. So that I remember exactly what you're talking about. I think I looked at the timer on my phone and yeah, it was like 8 minutes.
Yeah.
And I was like, did Noelle just go on for like 7 minutes? And
So
I
bad.
didn't want to stop you. So that's actually perfect for, do I sit down and have a glass of wine with my guests? And I'm like, oh, do I interrupt her? Do I not go?
These
You
are
were
things
just-
to where we don't have phone conversations to where it's like really back
I
and
don't.
forth.
I only
Hey,
talk to
question.
like 4
Okay,
people
bye.
on the phone.
So yeah, I don't know. I was just like, let me just get it all out so that way there's no further questions. We can hang up the phone. I can go inside. I had to pee, so let's go. And then you were like, Jesus Christ, thanks for the long-winded answer. I'm like, you're welcome. Bye.
Was there any party that was like, what a dickhead?
No.
Right?
No,
Okay, you can
because we
say it.
didn't
No?
expect that from you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Expectation leads to
I mean,
disappointment, but yeah, I'll
if-
take
I
it.
just feel like if you're upfront, like who cares? Like I saw someone who I didn't work with often, but they work for my company. I saw her in a Walmart, and she talks a lot. I'm like,
That's
oh,
the
Jesus
worst.
Christ, right? And then I looked at the line, and I was like, oh my God, it's the 4th of July weekend. It was like really long lines. I'm like,
Oh, so you're
and I'm like, look, I can't live my life this way. I gotta go.
and you
I
said this out loud, or you thought
no,
this?
I said it. I go,
So how do you do
as
it?
I'm talking to you, this line's getting longer and longer. I can't live like this. I get the out of here. I gotta go.
Well, let me ask you a question. You're in that same situation. You're in the restaurant. It's the end of the night. There's a couple there. You're like, you know what? I kind of like them, and you accept a glass of wine and you join them.
No.
Well, let's just indulge
Theoretically
me.
speaking-
How do you get out of that? Do you excuse yourself? Do you say?
No, I flat out
do
tell
you-
them, I'm like, you don't want me to drink.
I got shit to do. No, for our audience, especially for the business owners.
The professional answer?
What's the professional answer if you would politely like to excuse yourself after sitting down with a guest and having a glass of wine? How do you excuse yourself? Do you say, guys, thank you so much. This was great. I appreciate it, but I'm going to get up because if I don't, I'm going to drink the rest of this bottle with you and I'm going to be here for the next 3 hours. And you know what some people say? Oh, that's okay. They're okay
Right.
with it.
Yeah, because they have nothing to do. Like, no,
I have a
Hey.
good end of the night line that I've used like a couple times when I have had people that like they're the last people in there and they won't stop talking to me and all the servers are like, Noelle, shut the up and get away from that table. And I'm like, oh, you know what? Real quick, I just have to go speak with the kitchen real quick before they head out for the night.
Good one.
And I
Good
run to
one.
the back.
I like that. You got one for our audience, Liz?
no, because I would never sit and drink with I would never sit and drink with customers because then I run the risk of. It sounds really up. Okay, I'm not trying to make extra friends, right? So then,
No new
'cause
friends.
Then what happens is, and I like when regulars come in, and I'll talk with them, but like there has to be boundaries. So George will come in. I'm sure he had a conversation with someone recently, and they recognize him. This was just the other night, and he happened to walk to the restaurant. And they're acting like they're his best friends and he doesn't really remember. And it's hard. You see so many people you don't always remember. Now you run the risk of sitting down and drink with them. Now it's like in their mind they think, okay, we're tight.
But
you know
to,
what I'm saying?
but to
But how
Yanni's
are you going to
point-
build a legendary place?
But to Yanni's
No, because
point,
nah,
you
you
don't
just-
just sit down with everybody. Like if I'm sitting down and having a glass of wine with someone, it's because I already recognize them from the 4th time. I'm not like
Agreed.
first time going to sit down. A lot of the first timers and people that I don't recognize, I don't feel comfortable taking a drink. But if it's someone who's been there religiously, I'm like, you know what? I obviously already recognize you. So yeah, I'm going to sit down and
I don't know. Well, also too, I drive far, so that's something I always consider. I just would never, just because my overall circumstances, I'm not a big drinker. I drive far.
No,
like,
I
I
hear
don't
you.
even want to put myself
I
in
just
a
want to give
position.
something for our audience, especially the business owners, but it could also be front of the house staff when it comes to bartenders and servers. You know, do you sit down with your guests and have a glass of wine? I would encourage, as an owner, for the servers or even the bartenders to, yes, connect with your guests, because I'm all about connecting with the guests. And when you connect with your guests, you build a business. So I would push for it. I've done it many times. I think Nico is probably the best at this. You know, you just sit down and you connect. And maybe you share a glass of wine, maybe you politely decline, but you sit down and talk to them anyway. I wanted to give some value, I think, to everybody out there to say, I think my favorite trick, what was your line? I have to go see the kitchen.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I have to go check with the kitchen before they head out tonight.
And for me, it would be maybe sign language to somebody else to call my cell phone or to come over with a phone and say, there's somebody on the phone for you. That's a polite way to excuse yourself from the table, right? So I have to go talk to the kitchen, excuse yourself to make a phone call. Or if you're Liz McBadass, say, I'm not sitting down with your punk ass in the first place. Restaurant punk!
Period.
We're out!
Ow. Oh, what are you doing to that? Your hair's caught in that, in your mic over here. I don't know what you're doing. On your knees, bitch.
Listen.
What you got? What do you want?